Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Yes, I just have a real quick question. I have a son who is 17, about to turn 18, and my credit score is 830, and my husband's is like 780. And we want to start him off on the right track of having a good credit, much like we do. And I was just wondering if there was a particular credit card or how y'all would maybe suggest helping him get and obtain a good credit score as well.
Okay.
I've never heard that question on this show before, actually.
No? Really?
Don't think I have.
I've gotten it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Jennifer, when did you start listening?
I just started like about a month ago.
Okay, great.
That makes sense. Okay,
We're happy
very
to
good.
have you.
Yes, welcome aboard.
So what are you hoping he'll be able to do with that credit score? I just want to learn a little bit more about your intent here.
Well, I just want to know that when he is also about to start college. He's a senior in high school now, and so he'll be starting college, and I know that he'll need, we bought him his first vehicle, but I know that down the road that he'll need to get a vehicle and possibly be able to have to rent an apartment for college and this, that, and the other. So I just want to make sure that he has a good enough credit score to be able to get the things that he would need to get, like a vehicle later down the road, or maybe an apartment or something like that.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Here's why I don't like credit scores. And here's why I've never focused on one. And for all intents and purposes, I don't believe in them at all. Because you have to have debt. You have to interact with debt in order to have a credit score. And we also know that when you borrow money, the borrower is slave to the lender. And so there's this part of the credit score that it doesn't make sense to me, because it's all about how you interact with debt, how much debt you have, what types of debt you've had, how long you've had your debt, what percentage of your debt that you're using, right? It's all, nobody's asking questions about, can you actually afford the item? How are you managing the cash that you actually, and the money that is actually yours that is in your bank account? And so that's why I have an issue with the credit score. What I would love is for you to teach him a way that says, okay, if you have the money, you can afford it. If you don't have the money, you can't afford it. Now, let's go back to the things you talked about.
He is a very good saver right now. So he only works part-time, like 2 days a week, and he has since this past summer. And he's already saved like almost $3,000 and has purchased he's purchased like a $2,000 CD and this, that, and the other. So, I mean, we have taught him like, you do your 10% tithe, then you have some that you put in, this much you put in savings, and this much is like your fund money. So he's done that, but what I mostly worry about is like once he gets off to college and he has to rent an apartment. I know a lot of apartments look at credit scores.
They do.
And if he doesn't have one, they may be like, oh, sorry, we can't rent to you.
Well, the truth is you're right. A lot of credit card or a lot of apartments do look at your credit history, but a lot of them don't. And the ones that do, if you simply go to them and say, hey, here's the thing. I know you guys look at credit scores. I have a 0 credit score, which means that I don't borrow money because I don't believe in debt. But I also brought a copy of my bank account, and you can see how much money that I have here. So I'm good for the money. I also brought you my pay stubs so you can see how I work. And, if you kind of dig deeper and also let them know, hey, they might charge you a little bit more for first and last month's rent. But the truth is, you may have to do a little bit of due diligence to find people who believe the same things you believe and can actually understand, hey, I actually have money, because those apartment complexes are out there. So let's check that one off the list. And then if we talk about the car, well, I don't know about you, but I'd rather him buy a car in cash and not have payments than put money down and be loaded up with a car payment, because now we're teaching him, hey, if you want a car, you have to pay payments on it, as opposed to teaching him, hey, if you want a car, let's buy one in cash. You got $5,000, $3,000 saved and $2,000 in a CD. Once that CD is available, let's buy a $5,000 car in cash. And then in a year or two, if you want to upgrade and add $3,000 more with it, now you're driving an $8,000 car. And let's do that. And so that you can always have your money freed up. Because one of the things we've learned, Jennifer, is the car payment is what keeps middle class. Most people are walking around here with a $700 a month car payment, And because they have that car payment, it's tough for them to do things like invest for their future. And so I'd love to set him up with the mentality that I keep my biggest wealth building tool, which is my income, at my disposal. I don't give it away in payments every month. And therefore, if I'm not in debt, I don't need debt, which means I don't need a credit score.
Okay.
It's a new way of thinking. I know that it is because people don't talk about it.
It is. It's scary. It's a scary new way of thinking. But yes, I see your point.
Tell me the fear.
It's not scary. What are you scared of?
Yeah.
And it goes beyond the rent, because so college will only be 4 years, and then after that he'll probably want to buy a house. And I know it's a lot harder to obtain a house with no credit score and save up for a big,
So let me break in, and I want my colleague to tell you about that fear. Go ahead, explain it.
What if I told you that's not true? Jennifer, I love this call so much. I'm so glad you're with us because you are every woman USA right now calling in. The truth is, credit scores, they benefit from us, right? They benefit from us being in debt. They make money off that. When you get a credit card, when you sign up for a loan, there's a little thing called interest. And so there's a lot of people making money off of that. And so that's why you don't see on TV people advertising zero credit scores, because nobody's making money off of that. And so this whole thing is a product. But the truth is, you can buy a house. It's no harder. You can buy a house with a zero credit score. It's called manual underwriting. And it's the same thing like I told you at the apartment complex. All they do, it's literally the same process, but instead of looking at your credit score, they're looking at your actual money. And they're going, okay.
And I've never heard of that.
I know, but it's true. Do you want to know that
awesome.
I bought my house with manual underwriting? I had a zero credit
awesome.
score. And so just to clarify, not just for you, but anybody listening, a zero credit score is not the same as a bad credit score.
That's right.
A bad credit score is you haven't done well borrowing money. And so you have a bad credit score or a low credit score. A zero credit score is just as good as a high credit score. It simply means I don't borrow money. And if you were to look at my credit report, it would say indeterminable. And so there are plenty of places. Churchill Mortgage is one that we talk about all the time. Yeah. They're everywhere in the United States except New York and Alaska. And they do manual underwriting. And literally all they look at, I'm going to tell you right now, they look for 12 months of trade lines. And that could be you pay your cell phone bill, you pay your utilities, that sort of thing on time. They look for 12 months of your rental history. So if he goes to rent, he just needs to show 12 months, I paid my rent on time. And then they want to see I'm sorry?
I just said,
Okay. And then they want to see what you made over the last year. And they'll ask for your pay stubs, just like anything else. And then they go, okay, great. And if he happens to be self-employed, they might ask him for his tax returns. But that is it. And I just want to clear the air for anybody. You're helping so many people right now because a lot of people don't know that this is a thing, and it 100% is. And once you know that, all of a sudden it's weird because, Ken, the credit score don't mean a thing but a chicken wing at that point.
It's so true. And I love what you just said. The zero credit score tells people, this is somebody who's very solid with their money. And that's all they care about is, are they going to get paid?
Yeah.
So when you prove, as Jade, really laid out well, that you can pay, your son's got nothing to worry about. So that fear is natural, Jennifer, but it's because you've never heard what she just laid out.
That's
Most people
right.
never have. But she's right. Go do your homework on it. Check her on it. I promise you. Oh, yeah. It's popular to do these days. Fact check us. I think you'll like what you see. This is The Ramsey Show.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.